Have you ever asked yourself why you behave the way you do? What are the justifications you have for your beliefs and actions? In this video, I will discuss what I call the 4 C's of human behavior. The 4 C's of human behavior will help you to understand the reasons people do what they do. The first C stands for convention. This is the level most people operate. Do you know that most people align their beliefs and behaviors to those that are conventional in their societies? What most people do and what they believe are determined by convention. But I want you to know that the fact that a belief or practice or behavior is conventionally acceptable in a society does not necessarily imply that it is right. As a matter of fact, for every way of doing things in a society, there are better alternatives to it. And this is the reason sometimes you should question or even challenge conventions. There are some people who do so. You would have observed that culture is dynamic. Beliefs and practices in every society are dynamic. There are some beliefs and practices that were acceptable in the past, but today they are no longer acceptable. This is also the reason there are some beliefs and practices that were rejected in the past, but today they are acceptable. The fact that a belief or practice is conventional in a society does not necessarily imply that it is right. There are some people who question or even challenge some beliefs and practices in a society. But when they start, people do not understand what they do. As a matter of fact, many misunderstand them and even have issues with them. But gradually, their opinion start making sense. And this is how some beliefs and practices in different societies change with time. So the point I am making is that the fact that a belief or practice is conventionally accepted in a society does not necessarily imply that it is right. It can be questioned, it can be challenged, it can also be rejected with time and replaced with better alternatives. The second C stands for condition. You would have realized that an individual could do different things under different conditions. Same individual, different behaviors under different conditions. It is the condition the person finds himself that determines what he does. But I do not think that this is ideal for any adult, because as an adult, you should have personal principles, you should have personal philosophies, you should have personal resolutions, and you should always allow those principles and policies to guide your life, irrespective of the circumstance you find yourself. There are many people who do the things they do not like just because of the condition they find themselves. You should not allow the conditions you find yourself to always determine what you do. For instance, do you know that there are some ladies that accept marriage proposals from men they do not love just because the men are rich? They're only interested in their money. If those ladies were rich, they wouldn't have made those decisions. But it is their condition that determines the wrong decisions they make. And you would realize that even in the midst of the riches of the husband, they would not be happy. Some people have also done things they do not like because some people promised that they would give them something. You should have personal principles. You should have policies for your life, and you should adhere to those principles irrespective of the conditions around you. The third C stands for compulsion. This has to do with doing things, not really because you love to do it, but because someone who has authority over your life gives you an instruction to do so. So sometimes some adults find themselves in situations they have no option other than to do something they have been instructed to do by someone who has authority over their lives. In such situation, such people usually have no option other than to do what another person wants them to do. The fourth C, which is the last C, stands for conviction. This is really the ideal reason you should do the things you do. Conviction has to do with doing something because you believe that it is right. It has to do with doing something because you believe it is the ideal thing, not because others are doing it, not because of the condition you find yourself, not also because you are forced to do it, but simply because you are convinced, you have a deep conviction within yourself that it is the right thing. I said earlier that you should have principles, policies, philosophies, and resolutions that govern your life. You should have principles, you should have philosophies, you should have policies. You should also have firm resolutions that regulate your life. And they should be what determine what you do. It is a pity that many people do not do most of the things they do out of their convictions, but simply because that's what others want them to do, or they even do something sometimes in order to impress others. Until you get to a level in life when you do things out of conviction, when you have strong beliefs, you have strong principles that regulate your conduct, until you get to that level, you are not someone of integrity. When people know that your behaviors can be manipulated by making some changes in some conditions, then you will see that they won't have respect for you. This is the reason sometimes people would not want to do something or like to do something, but someone can make a promise to them. If you do this, I will make this available to you. If you do that, I will offer you this. And you will see them bowing to people's wishes because they have no principles for their lives. When you don't live according to conviction, when your life is not regulated by your personal convictions, by your principles, you will see that sometimes when people realize that your conscience is a commercial commodity, when they are in need of someone who will do some nasty things for them, you will be an option because they know that with a mere promise, they can control what you do. They can push you into something which you do not even like to do. But when you are a person who lives by convictions, who knows what he wants and does it irrespective of what others feel, when you are someone that cannot be manipulated by anyone to do something he doesn't like, then nobody, for any reason, will contemplate making a proposal to offer you something in order to do what you dislike. The central message in this video program is that you should not do things just because others are doing them. You should have rational justifications for the things you do. You should also not do things because of the condition you find yourself. Let conditions not manipulate your actions. Rather, let your actions manipulate your conditions. No matter the situation you see yourself, Still strive to hold on to your principles. Still strive to hold on to your personal convictions in life. Still strive to hold on to your personal policies. Also, do not submit your life to the control of others. Life is best when it is lived in accordance with personal convictions, not in obedience to people's decisions or instructions. Such life is best for children, but not for adults. So I advise you, have your personal principles, have your policies, have your firm resolutions on life, have your convictions on life, and let these be the factors that will always regulate your conduct. Thanks very much for being a part of this program. See you in the next video.